seems to be a little bit more common for marketplaces to kind of pursue the kind of enterprise or B2B route now. And so I guess like, with that in mind, do you have any maybe tips for founders that might be thinking through that and how that might help them build a better marketplace?
Yeah, I interviewed this guy in like 2018. He worked at this company called Porch, and I actually hadn't heard of it, but they're like a big time marketplace in nationally, maybe internationally now, and they're big time in what's that place called? They're in Washington, and I'm interviewing him. He's a product manager, and he's like, "Hey, man, have you ever considered like partnering with like businesses to do what you're doing?" And I had always thought like, like Bright Horizons does a lot of partnerships with like Bright Horizons is like a big time childcare provider, the biggest in the world, maybe our second biggest. And they partner with like employers like Goldman Sachs and like Salesforce, that's what I had always thought. But then he explained that what Porch does, and I'm probably butchering this, but the idea still sticks, which is like Porch is it's like a hardware company. Like you can get like it's like TaskRabbit, like you can get help with like your house doing home renovations, and I think you can buy like materials through it too. I'm really sorry for anyone who knows about Porch. I'm really messing this up, but like uh the but what he was saying is that like what he would realize is that you could like they partnered with a lot of the inspectors, or they would partner with like the people who were part of the journey of using the Porch marketplace. And he said that that was a way for them to get a lot of growth. And that just sounded very logical to me, like very logical. And so I started to prioritize figuring out like, and being that I went through every step of the journey, filling the schools and, helping the schools get operational, I knew all of the different sort of touch points and all of the different companies that like a childcare provider would meet along their journey. And I was like, hey, what if we started partnering with all these people, right? And building software for them and helping them do their jobs better. And I found that that's like a really, really powerful way to build a marketplace. And so I don't know like the sort of like technical way of describing that. But that's something that if I were building a marketplace today, that's what I would be thinking about for sure.
No, certainly. And then maybe what are like some examples, like specific ways that's helped with like launching a new market?
You get word of mouth, right? You get all of these people who are the biggest problem with marketplaces, at least my opinion, is getting the unit economics to work, right? And so there are a lot of things that are happening in the world right now that are lowering the costs of onboarding and servicing and potentially even acquiring users, right? Which is great. But there will be competition. CAC will continue to increase, and so you have to find ways to make your economics work in like with a moat. And the more you establish those types of relationships, uh, the deeper your moat, and so the more fortified you are. And so it's just it's a competitive advantage, and then also from a user experience perspective, it's like just a better user experience when everything is on one platform or everything is interconnected, right? It just feels magical. And so, but like, to deliver on that magical experience requires like a confluence of a lot of different functions, like executing the right way for the customer. And so, that's sort of what I'm like realizing through this approach.